Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabriel. Welcome to Curious Sports Pulse. This is Provide the Spark. This is it's an afternoon show. It's going to be around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each and every day. Could be throughout the day too, depending on any breaking news that may or may not be happening. TBD, TBD. But for sure, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is our set time as I adjust my mic here. There's a lot to get into today. First of all, what Mark Ingram said brings up an interesting point about Tua Tagovailoa and how I think we need to evaluate the Miami Dolphins and their situation going forward. Finally, there's a lot of noise in the camp of Travis Kelce, and that is not Taylor Swift related, and not even necessarily Harrison Butker related, but this has more to do with everything that's been going on with Travis Kelce. I kind of made me kind of think, and I kind of want to dive in a little deeper about what the overall everything means for the Kansas City Chiefs. Rich Paul is making it very clear Bronny James is not going to be some journeyman. No, no, no. He is going to get his minutes and he's going to play. And then I saw an interesting comment about Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. Some saying that the Bears would come to regret moving on from Justin Fields and regret having Caleb Williams. That doesn't seem right at all. If you're listening to this and say, no, yeah, I saw it and we're going to comment on that. But first, this story makes me happy. Lonzo Ball is set to play again. He's set to return. It looks like he will indeed come back. Now, what is it that made this possible? He had a meniscus donor. Now, I don't know the details of this specifically, but this has got to be a sign, right? If you are needing an operation in which another human, again, I have no idea the specifics, I have no idea about the science. It's so common where we say when so and so, for example, tears an ACL or something, or there's a disjointed knee or whatever you may have, where then you're just talking with your friends and you'd say, "Oh, I donate my kidney for so and so. I donate my kidney so that Odell Beckham Jr. Can go catch a pass, right? I donate my right leg so I could watch Cristiano Ronaldo score a goal for Portugal again, so they could win the cup." Uh, in this case, it appears that it literally happened that way. Again, I didn't dive into the specifics, but he being Lonzo said that he had a meniscus just donated to him. And this is on a more serious note, this is something of a red flag for me because when he came into the league, I was very high on him. And did I go overboard? Yeah, yes. Yes, I did. I went too far, way too far. I thought he would have GOAT conversation potential. That's how far I went with it. But his is a career where when he's on the court and when he wasn't in a completely toxic situation, you see why a lot of NBA scouts were excited to have him play. You see why a lot of fans were kind of more than willing to give him that shot, give him a chance, because he's a fun watch. But ultimately, injuries derailed him. He can't stay healthy. And it seems like any minor contact, any minor tweak just sets him back. And this is something that great athlete, works hard, intelligent player, but staying healthy is not necessarily always about the work you put in the gym. It can also be just the lottery of how your genetic makeup lined up. And it just seems like that he, as well as his brother, are just injury prone. And There are some players who are injury prone where you say it's because they don't take care of their body, and I don't think that's the case at all. I really don't. It's more that whatever it is in terms of how his body is aligned, whatever it is with his joints, his ligaments, he just can't stay healthy. And it's a shame because he is one of the more fun players to watch. And the Chicago Bulls, for example, were firing on all cylinders before he got hurt. And then we saw what happened afterward. So shout out to whoever donated the meniscus. Not sure what state that their current leg is in, but shout out to them, and I hope it pans out. Moving on to Rich Paul now. He made it very clear that Bronny James is not going to sign a two-way contract. This is something that I find a little peculiar. Why? Because I don't know what he's accomplishing with this story. A lot of people are torn in terms of does Bronny even belong in the league? Eventually, I think most people would say he could work himself up to that. But for right now, I think it's fair to say that not too many people would have pegged him to be drafted this year, let alone to make the league after being an NBA rookie free agent, were it not for his name. And so that's fair if he wants to bet on himself. That's totally fair if he wants to still earn it. And is it fair to say that this is because of nepotism or that it's undeserving, that he's completely undeserving of a roster spot? No, I mean, we're seeing right now in workouts, he looks the part. He is good, if not better than some of the other players toward the lower parts of the bench. So I think that would be unfair. And we see that um that nepotism can play a role just like it does in many aspects of society. Does anyone really think Thanasis Antetokounmpo is providing that needed spark off the bench if it weren't for his brother? Uh, I mean, Glenn Rivers saved Austin for a little bit before Austin showed who the better of the two Rivers is in the NBA. But that's a story for another day. Um, Either way, we see that it's right. It's not prevalent, it's not rampant, but we do see that it's the reality that especially for someone of the caliber of LeBron James, of course, if it's close, of course, Bronny James is going to get an initial benefit of the doubt to get that first look, to get that first maybe foot in the door, toe in the door. But beyond that, he's going to have to earn it to be actually considered an NBA scouts are going to have to feel like there is an upside. And for sure there is, particularly on the defensive end. And we see that players who are initially offensively limited can become better. And I would say Bronny James is ahead of the curve in terms of his offensive game than a lot of players who came into the league as being labeled as offensively limited and are now more than capable contributors on the scoring end. So would I have advised? Would I in his situation said I should probably stay a year in college to develop to better my chance? Yes, I probably would. But that's just me. I also love and I'll always root for someone who's betting on themselves and says, "No, I can do this now." I'm just not sure Rich Paul sharing this story now is what was necessarily needed. Moving on. I saw this, like I said in my little intro, that Justin Fields is going to be the envy of the Chicago Bears, the front office, the faithful, the organization. And I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. So you have to remember a couple things. First of all, a lot of people look good in OTAs. A lot of people look good when there isn't the threat of being hit involved. And this makes sense because, for example, if you're sparring or if you're just running through drills, there are some stuff that mentally you can get away with. There are some things that you would try, there are some things that you would do that you would never actually be able to pull off or even attempt in a game because of the threat of being hit or the threat of sending a hospital ball to one of your teammates and being hated forever. So this is why you can't take the unpadded practices. You can't take, you know, the sessions that are right now. How far are we? 4 months, 3 months ahead. You can't take that as so and so is going to do well or not. That's just silly, and you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to misevaluate for the season to come. So would I take Justin Fields over Caleb Williams? Absolutely not. Do I think Caleb Williams is going to find success in Chicago? Also no. But I also don't think that Justin Fields is going to turn around any narratives whatsoever in terms of it was long time for him to get out of Chicago. But we're kind of talking about Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. I saw on Twitter someone said that Justin Fields is going to make everyone in Chicago jealous here soon. I think it's complete nonsense. But what do you think?
I think that I heard. Yeah, I was listening a little bit from afar. Man, got a glare going on hardcore here.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, don't worry about it.
There we go. Better. Well, yeah, I think just Chicago, and I know this for a fact, is quarterback purgatory because it's where quarterbacks go. The quarterbacks' careers go to just fade away. Will Justin Fields succeed more in Pittsburgh? You're damn right he will. And if he's not the starter, I'd be disappointed because I mean it's nothing against Russell Wilson. It's just Justin Fields is still a spring chicken, and well, Russell Wilson's not. But we're talking about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, I don't know. I mean, I really can't say who I would take over the other because I don't know yet. I haven't seen Caleb Williams really play, but they've set him up in the best possible situation that Chicago has ever had for a quarterback. But you know what? They said the same thing about Bryce Young going into Carolina last year. So that's literally the exact same narrative. And yeah, they're having to pick up the pieces, and apparently he's doing well. That's a different story. But yeah, I don't know. It's a cop-out answer. Do I think he'll succeed? I think he'll struggle for a little bit because a rookie quarterback, that's why sophomore slumps exist, because they finally have tape on you, and then they can plan for you. So maybe he'll succeed for the first little bit, but at least he has DJ Moore. I mean, that's something. So, and he has Keenan Allen. And I'd rather have Keenan Allen than Mike Williams. Shout out to the Jets on that one because I like them both, but Keenan Allen usually stays on the field more, usually. And they drafted a receiver as well. And
I don't think either one's going to do well this year. I think we're going to be having the same conversation about the Steelers regarding Fields and the same conversation with the Bears regarding Williams next year. I think both fan bases need to calm down and just lower expectations so they can't be disappointed, and let it be a pleasant surprise if I'm wrong. That's what I think is best.
I'll say this about the Steelers. It's not they don't have to lower expectations because last year their offense it can't go anywhere, but it can't go. Their best offense was their defense. So I mean, they can't go anywhere. They can't go anywhere but up. And Arthur Smith is true. Arthur Smith is now their OC, and he's better as an OC than one Matt Canada, and two, he's better at OC when he turned Ryan Tannehill's career around. And Justin Fields is head and shoulders way above talent-wise than Ryan Tannehill. Plus, they got a running game and two good receivers. So we'll see. Two good running backs.
Yeah, too bad the quarterback they acquired from the Chicago Bears is still garbage, but that's for another day. The Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna this is me projecting maybe, and that's fine. But oh my goodness.
Just had to.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about him.
Mm.
I don't know if I like everything that's going on in Kansas City right now. And I know that they're used to distractions. Right? These are celebrities at the end of the day. And that comes with the territory. So I know they're used to it. But there just seems to be a lot more off-season noise this year. And last year, it kind of looked like they were closer to the wheels falling off throughout the season than not. I don't love all the noise coming out of Kansas City. And I think last year might have been the last actual legitimate Super Bowl shot, but I might be overreacting. Go ahead. What do you think, Rock?
I think I hope this is a bit because I know you're overreacting. They have a better team than they did last year now. They have kept their good. Only person they lost was Snead, but they replaced him and they kept the more important piece, which is Chris Jones. He's the best tackle, arguably one of the top, at least top five. He's the best tackle in the now that Donald is retired. He's the best tackle in the league. Their defense carried them this year. Their offense has got Hollywood Brown. It's got They also acquired they drafted a really good receiver, a speedster, like the fast. I think he recorded the fastest time, the 40 time in NFL combine history for a receiver. So, and they've just built around it. You know, they've gotten new offensive linemen. The only distractions, there's two. Well, and one of them is their kicker. So, but he just needs to shut up. He just needs to shut up for real, because it was ridiculous what he was talking about. It's ironic because he said, women should be fine having the name homemaker as a job, and I found out yesterday that his mom is a physicist. So I'm like, well,
oh my God,
you're gonna tell her that she should be a homemaker, huh? Okay. So I mean, he's a great kicker. He's a former Panther, actually. I'm not proud of it now that what he said, but he's a former Panther. We cut him though. No, I mean, Rashid Rice. I mean, Tyreek Hill went through domestic violence charges when he was with Kansas City, and they got through that too, won a Super Bowl. So Andy Reid is very good about getting rid of distractions, and Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce are extremely good. They're the best leaders for a team in the NFL, probably, now that Jason Kelce's retired. So, yeah, I don't have any problems. I think the Chiefs are going to run it back for 3. I do. I don't see any. They've gotten nothing but better. But Harrison,
I'm just not. I don't really care too much about the Harrison Butker thing in terms of football because I mean he's the punter, great punter,
kicker.
But thank you. The value over replacement, like I think that if they cut him, I think they're gonna be just fine, right? I'm not too worried about that necessarily, and the locker room seems to be handling it decent in terms of everyone is voicing however they feel about it, one way or another. So again, I think I'm not too worried about that for the football team. Just we saw last year, like Travis Kelce has even said he's closer to retirement than not.
Well, yeah,
and we saw how at times it looked like it was a struggle just for him to get open down the field. And you named all the players, especially the wide receivers who they brought in, it's not as easy as just plug and play.
I mean, for the Chiefs, it seems like it for the Chiefs is when they hit playoff time.
Last year it wasn't at all.
In the regular season, no. In the postseason, yes. Oh. Everyone started catching the ball, and they brought Valdez-Scantling back as well. And that's not a bad thing. If I were them, I would have brought back. I think Mecole Hardman is still on there. I don't know. They're loaded, man, and they got a second tight end.
But you can't just say they're loaded. We have to watch how they play within the system. We have to watch how they actually play together. Who knows if there's now all of a sudden a Butterfingers curse? Like you can't just say now in May that they're loaded. On paper, sure, they look improved. fine. I can give you that. But I want to actually see how it plays out. And just in general, I'm weary of teams where there's too much noise, regardless of where it's from. That's where I am coming from with all this.
That's fair, I guess. I mean, every time someone counts out the Chiefs saying, "Oh, they've lost so much talent." Last year they were dropping the ball, but they're cut literally, but their defense kept them in it all those times. The running game in Pacheco has gotten better. They got another running back. I don't know if Edwards-Helaire is still there, but I think he is. But no, I mean, on paper. But if anyone makes it work as the best player and the best coach in the NFL, that's what I would say.
We also have to see how this roster ends up shaking up too. I think they have a couple decisions still to make, but that's for another day. Erock, we're on our last topic for today, on this show at least. Mark Ingram said that Tua Tagovailoa needs to get paid. And I have an opinion on this. Oh. Shocker, I know.
Okay.
But I'd like you to go first, if you don't mind. And this was I think it was an Instagram post. It might have been Twitter, but yeah, it was a picture of Tua. Mark Ingram commented, Tua Tagovailoa needs to get paid. What's your reaction to this?
Well, he had a player option this past year, and they decided not to do it. Not to extend him, I should say. And what that says is, this year you have to prove yourself one more time, because they want to make sure that he's essentially betting on himself, and they're daring him or daring him to do it, like do better, dare to do better. He didn't have a bad season. He had a great season at home. At one point, people were talking about he also has probably arguably the best, the top 3 best receiving cores in the NFL. And one guy who should, if he hadn't gotten injured, would have gotten over 2,000. He would have gotten 2K yards, and he hadn't gotten hurt. And they got Jalen Waddle still. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, if he doesn't succeed, if he doesn't succeed this year and improve on the road or in the late part of the season, then there's a very good chance that they'll move on from him. But they have no one else right now. So his job right now is safe for the year, but is he worth that contract, which is what the quarterbacks are going to get, like every time? Like Jalen Hurts, what he got, that's a big leap. I mean, we'll see. But I don't know. I mean, I can see if he does. I'd say if he cuts down interceptions, he does better in the late fall, later in the season this year, I could support him getting a contract. Now let's see what you hear.
Yeah, I'm assuming you mean a veteran's minimum, right?
I mean, it's hard to find a starting quarterback. It is the hardest position as people say, it's the most important position to a team sport in all of sports, probably. And it's hard. They don't grow on trees. It's hard to find a successful quarterback. Drafting them is a pain in the ass. Just ask, everyone pretty much. Everyone's done it. Ask the Chicago Bears, but that's their fault usually. Ask the Jets. There's another one too. So they don't grow on trees. So if Tua does well, I mean, you got to pay him at least middle of the pack, which is still a lot of money for a quarterback. So I'm not saying the minimum, because they're not going to be. He won't agree to the minimum, and someone will sign. Someone will sign him for sure.
Veteran minimum. Absolutely not, Erock. You cannot do this, and here is why. Do you know what else doesn't grow on trees? At least as of now, as of recording. No, you said that, Erock.
I said money.
Yes. Oh no, you said quarterbacks. My bad.
Oh, I said that too. No. Quarterbacks don't grow on trees, but you know what
else? No. Brains. Do you know what else do you know what he has one shot with? Concussions. You cannot pay Tua Tagovailoa. He was one hit away from doctors saying that he's medically unable to play ever again, to step up on the field. You cannot, you shan't, you shall not pay this man anything that then puts you in a purgatory, in a binding hold where you're then screwed as a franchise. For sure, you have to start finding the next guy. At the very least, you have to start taking that seriously. At this point, it's a business. Forget everything else you said. That is true. That is true. But in my opinion, we can't even have that conversation. When we talk about, can you be healthy? Can you be available? The health conversation with Tua is a completely different level. It's at another stage with Tua. If the Dolphins go out and pay him, I could see mid-level because of the QB market and what he is doing. I could actually see that, like, kidding aside. But anything beyond that, I won't. No one should feel sorry for this team then when something happens, and it's going to be when, more likely than not, with Tua.
I agree with that. I mean, that's why I'm saying middle. There's no way he'll do a vet minimum. There's not a chance in hell. Yeah, there's not a chance in blue hell. He's not
500K.
He's not Ryan Tannehill. All right, he's not. No. So, all right, let me postulate this one to you.
Sure.
If you are on that boat and they need to start looking for the next guy, who do you recommend? Like, do you think the draft? Do you think they look for a vet? What do you think? And if they look for a vet, who do you have in mind?
Yeah, I mean
that's the issue, right?
Kidding it, like, not even. What do you mean that's the issue?
No, that's the issue.
How is this the issue, Iraq?
No, finding a quarterback. Like, if you're replacing with a quarterback. That's the issue.
How would that be the issue? If you're looking for a quarterback, it's because you don't have a quarterback.
No, it's just like finding one that's going to succeed. It's finding one that's going to succeed. I mean, like, he's used to the system now, kind of. So that's all I'm saying.
So if you're actually looking for the quarterback, then you've said, wow, we really messed up here. So at that point, of course, it's an issue, but you can't then be handcuffed if that's how you decide to go. Oh no, someone might not smile the way Tua did. Well, probably not. But you have to then move on as an organization and not be married to a bad decision that is crippling your franchise, especially one as important as the quarterback, as you correctly said. Who is someone who I think would, and again, I'm not one that dives into the cap rules and trade, like what's actually realistic. I think an interesting thing, and someone who I think the Dolphins could use this type of quarterback, would be like a Josh Allen, and not the linebacker from Jacksonville, because he's the exact opposite of what they've had at quarterback.
Yeah, hypothetical on that. Yeah, I think that possibly. I mean, not him specifically, obviously, but I mean, someone like that. I mean, it's hard to replace, man. I mean, and plus next year's quarterback class is not as strong as this one is. This one was a beast mode quarterback class.
Well, we can't say that, Iraq. We haven't seen this quarterback draft class play yet. What if all five are busts?
Well, all right. Well,
we can't say that.
Well, a lot of them aren't eligible. That's what I'm saying. Most of them last year were coming out at the exact same time. So, and we knew who they were, like, immediately the whole season, except for Jaden Daniels. He came out and just absolutely lit the sky up, and no one saw that coming.
Oh. Well, and if you're casual, maybe you didn't see it coming. Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I don't watch the SEC. So, I mean, I didn't know who Jaden Daniels was before the season. I knew who Brian Kelly was. I knew LSU. I just didn't know who their quarterback. But then I saw his numbers. I think I saw it was that one game where he got like 400 yards passing and 200 yards rushing or something. It was like video game numbers. I think it was against Florida. That's who it was. His former team. Yeah. And it was his former team was Arizona State. Excuse me, my bad. But yeah, it was against Florida. But this is gonna be it's tough, man. Tua might be their best hope right now, but maybe not. I mean, he didn't get hurt this past season. He stayed healthy.
Yeah, and okay, so then let's pretend that we're willing to overlook this really blaringly obvious issue. Let's pretend that I think we see the ceiling.
Okay.
Right? Have we not? I mean, they've done everything for the man.
What Michael Jordan say? The ceiling is the roof, or the what is it?
With him, it's a rug. Like, what else are they supposed to do? They've sold all out for him to get him support, weapons, the system. I mean, they even changed the weather patterns so that he doesn't have to worry about that unless it's the playoffs. Like, what else are they supposed to do for him, E-Rock?
They changed the weather patterns. What did they get? What did they get?
I'm assuming.
What did they get? Storm from X-Men or something like that? What happened? They changed the weather pattern. They hired Aurora, whatever her name. I can't remember. Little Marvel for you. Say, all right, we got to get rid. Well, I admit, they're the only. I think they're part of the field in the summer, in the early part of the season where it's hot as hell. Their side is the one that has shadow or has like the shade, and the other side is where everyone. It is such a bad. I mean, they still give them like those water fans, but that only helps so much. If anyone's ever been to Disney World or something, dear God, it ain't gonna help you that much. It's like you're sitting there like those little fans, like I start melting like a soft serve cone. Oh my God, I couldn't imagine going to that. I would never go to a Dolphins game. Oh my God. Yeah, no.
Or wait till November.
Yeah, or wait till well, I just wouldn't go to Miami.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not a Florida kind of guy, you know. Florida man, not Florida man here. I'll go to a beach close. I live in North Carolina. There's beaches close to me that aren't as hot. So, like I mentioned, Myrtle Beach. There you go. And I was dogging Myrtle Beach and like, I'm going to Myrtle Beach. Shout out to a previous show. I am going very soon. Very soon. So you better be ready, dirty Myrtle. So this is, I mean, yeah. I mean, I see where you're coming from. In a world, but a world where it's easy. If they find a better prospect, I don't know who's a free agent. I don't know who's going to demand a trade. I don't know. That's going to be Kirk Cousins may have been their best option, but Kirk Cousins is just getting paid more and more. The best agent in the world. Tua Tagovailoa.
Nailed it.
Yeah, did I? Not really. That was a
Nope.
No, that was not.
We'll let it slide though. It's fine. I'm
gonna say 2 watt. Tua Tag. No, it's just a matter of time. Hopefully he stays healthy, and if he stays healthy this year, he definitely earned the contract. What? If he stays healthy this year,
well, you said a key word, E-Rock. You said prospect. If we're taking, yeah, I'll accept that last statement from yours. Fine. But you said prospect. If we are using the word prospect, for sure it's not Tua. Tua can't be a part of that conversation whatsoever. His floor is the ceiling, is a rug, and not the roof. If we're saying prospect, anyone else has more potential because we've seen what he is at his best now for the duration of a season. That's a wild card win at best. If everything goes well, if he has a system that's catered to him, and if he has monster wide receivers on the outside, and if he has a coach that is undeniably unapologetic for him. And again, the weather patterns. Okay. So if we're saying prospect, then absolutely anyone else is a better prospect because prospect means potential.
I don't know if that's what I call prospect, but prospect is like, I don't know. Prospect to me is just in general candidates for a job. It's like he's a prospect. He's like, all right, there are several prospects here. Which one is the? I mean, I don't know if there's like a specific.
Yeah, which means potential, which means value over replacement.
I mean, I could see the Miami Dolphins winning the division this year. I could easily do this.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah.
And if they
that's true.
He's gonna get his paper if he does. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, I mean, I won't care one way or another. I just think that's a huge mistake if you're the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, you may not have a choice at that point. I mean, look at the Vikings. They were trying to re-sign Kirk Cousins, and so I mean, he was lighting it up for a lot of last year. But I mean, even coming off of an injury, they were still trying to pay him. Quarterbacks they are not easy to find, and people
actually no, Iraq. I completely disagree. This is why franchises are then stuck in hell, and then the fan bases are like, oh, why aren't we winning again? Because of dumb decisions, because of this mentality. Like, if you whiffed on a draft pick, if you whiffed on a QB acquisition, you have to be able to admit it and move on. And when something isn't working, you have to have that mental capacity to just say, I messed up. but I can make it right again. By I, in this case, you mean the GM. So this, especially nowadays, this mentality, I completely dispel the notion of that you have to be married to a quarterback just because it's the best available option that seems available at the time. Completely disagree with that, Iraq.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I respect your opinion, which is also funny because I saw an article. Speaking of Kirk Cousins, his former team, it was talking about in OTAs that JJ McCarthy was not doing well. He was struggling like heavily, and Sam Darnold was on track to be the starter for the Vikings. So I thought that was funny.
Oh, good God.
What?
You missed my opening rant about why are we taking anything from OTAs?
Because it's fun.
Like, right. No, that's fair. Although, if you're struggling in OTAs, then that is a huge red flag.
I'm about to say, I mean, OTAs, if you're not doing well, like getting the playbook right and stuff like that, I mean,
yeah.
Then you're doing it with street clothes on, or with shorts and short sleeves. I mean, and people are not being covered. I mean, that's not good.
Right. That's different. That's like most of the time, it's like, oh my God, he looks so good, you know. But if you're struggling in OTAs,
I mean, it's not a
maybe you,
Sam
that's
Sam
maybe you
Darnold
don't belong in the league.
probably not. Well, we all love you know how much we all love JJ McCarthy. You know how much we all thought he should go top 5. He was the top 3 pick. You know.
Yeah, he was a top pick. Yeah.
Patriots should have gotten him. There you go.
Oh my God, Iraq, I would have lost it.
How's
all right?
I'm sure Drake May's doing well in OTAs. I'm sure he's fine.
Well, everyone does well in OTAs except apparently JJ. Surprise, the running back couldn't get it done. But anyway, Iraq, when's your show later today? Are you doing a show today?
I am doing a show today. Jordan Ramos will be joining me, and I don't know, maybe Gabe might grace us with his presence. We shall see. It will be
Grace, but go on.
Grace. Great. I said Grace.
I said it wouldn't be grace. It would be like begrudging. It would be like anger. It would be
anger. Ah! Oh, okay. Fierce, bringing his teeth in.
Yes.
Dude, put some grills in, like
that's pretty good,
mean mug's face, like yeah, making me rolling. Our show will be between 5:30 and 6. Cool. Be ready to watch it. It is going to be Scoutcast Media Hub presents, as usual, Paint to Paint, because right now it is paint to paint season. Paint. We are going to go no part 1s and 2s, just part everything today, and we are going to dive into many things about many things, bigly things about the league, because there's a lot of things happening with the Pacers right now. We'll get into that. And as always, living at 09, follow me, see me, son. And Gabe, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Can't wait. Shout out Harrison Butker. Should be a good one. See you later, Iraq.
See you. Yeah, see you. Harrison.